Hello YouTube, my name is Mike, and tonight I'm going to show you a really cheap and possibly stupid way to repair leaks in your power steering line. This here, power steering line out of my 2002 Santa Fe. The store wanted like $90 for a new one. Internet still wanted like $35, $40. I'm not shelling out that kind of money. It's Christmas time. So I took it into my own hands and found a virtually free way to do this. Disclaimer, I'm not a rocket surgeon or a math magician or a mechanic by any means. Do this at your own risk. I'm doing it at my own risk. I hope it works out for the best. I'm pretty confident it'll all be okay. Eventually, if I have the car long enough, I'm definitely gonna, put something better than what I'm doing. But without further ado, here is the trick. Piece of copper pipe. This one is 3/8 of an inch. I believe this power steering line is like 5/16 of an inch. And basically all I'm going to do is polish up power steering line real good. Polish the inside of this brass copper tube and just put it right there on the end. And then get a blowtorch, heat it up, dip some solder on there, and it should be good to go. My power steering line developed a leak maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it went from just a drip to like draining my whole reservoir. And I found the leak to be somewhere in this area. So basically what I did was got a pipe cutter, put it on there, and this 3 inches in front, 3 inches back, I cut it out, and then put a little piece of copper right there, and soldered it. And like, soldering is not my expertise by any means. I am very terrible at soldering. However, it has been successful at this part, no leaks or anything. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Like I said, do this at your own risk. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm pretty sure it'll be okay though. What you need for this project would be a nice C-clamp, copper tubing, tin snips or something. I don't know if that's what they're called. Yeah, I didn't really need them, but they are useful. A file is nice. Pipe cutter. Torch, obviously. Solder. Coffee. Flux. Like I said, I am terrible with soldering. You go lay it in to me on that one because I just don't get it. I just don't get it, dude. I've been trying for years. Anyway. So yeah, another thing that helps is a drill. And then you could get like little Dremel bits if you don't have a brush to clean out the inside of the copper pipe. That's definitely a way to go. I went this route because the nut that holds the line onto the rack it wasn't coming off. It was at such a bad angle for this vehicle that I just wasn't screwing with it. Like, we got a lot of rust up here. It's not budging. So, to kind of alleviate the stress level, I figured, hey, why not? I gotta replace it anyway. Let's figure out if this will work, because if it does, it's gonna save me like $90. Because that's crazy. I mean, this crap right here, this is brake line. You will literally go up and buy like 3 feet of brake line, and then just like bend it over your knee into the shape that it's supposed to be, and pop it back in there. I doubt that nut will even come off. Alright, anyway, remove the power steering line. There's a nut right here. It's like a 15/16, so you could probably also use a 23. You remove that. And then there is a bracket down there. I don't remember what size it is. Probably broke. And then there's one more underneath. Besides the nut on the actual axle I couldn't get off. So to use tools most effectively to access and remove the power steering line, it's a whole lot easier to lift the car up so you can get under there. Here's a tip. I lifted mine up and forgot to loosen the wheel, so if I try to spin them, they're just going to keep spinning and spinning and spinning. So what you can do, find yourself just a big metal object, the wider the better, and just pretty much put it in there, and then get it right behind your caliper, and you spin your wheel, and eventually it's going to lock up. So just hold it tight. There you go. You just leave it there. You could actually just go ahead and do all of them. So I don't want to drop the car. That's just too much BS. To the other nuts, you might want to take the driver's side wheel off, and then go right on up in there. And this, I couldn't get the nuts off up there, and I wasn't even going to try anymore because there's no room to move anything in here. It's retarded how it's designed. And then the clip, or there's a clamp. Oh shit. Sorry. And there is a clamp right there. And that clamp is just right next to the rack where they're going at. And then you just unclip that one, and I ended up cutting it like somewhere like right here and pull it on out. Go up to the hardware store, get yourself a piece of like a foot of copper tubing. It's probably like $1.59 for the 3/8 inch. If you're savvy, you'll probably be able to. I just pulled mine off of right here pretty much. Here's another quick tip. When you bend the copper tubing, if you don't have a tool or do it very carefully, it's going to get kinks in it. Get yourself a piece of hose that the copper will fit in, push it in, and then either like bend it over a soup can or bend it over whatever, or you just bend it with your hands. That way it won't get kinked up. Take your copper tubing and you figure out the rough size and shape you're going to need to connect the pipes. You mark it, and then you take a pipe cutter and you cut it. Pipe cutter is pretty self-explanatory. Got a cutting wheel in there, so you basically put it where you're going to cut on your pipe. Tighten up snug with the pipe, and then start twisting it. I do a full rotation, then I'll tighten it more. There you go. Whoop whoop. Alright, once you got your pipe, it's probably not going to fit over it, so pretty much just take anything pokey and just like put it in there. I also take a drill bit, just put it in there, bore it out a little bit. You don't really got to go that far either, just enough so that it's going to fit over, maybe like at least like a 1/4 inch. Set your piece on in there and mark it. So you got a reference point and where it went in. That way you could take the power steering line out and at least do this bottom joint there. Alrighty, and your last step pretty much is going to be to solder this bad boy. So get you some flux and put a whole bunch of it all over. You want to make sure that you polish everything until it's nice and shiny and like a mirror finish. get you some heat and some solder. I'm using a 60-40. Up here I used some silver solder, and it's a lot harder to work with than this 60-40 crap is. You heat that sucker up until you hear all that flux boil away. And apply your solder. And hope for the best. That's about it. And there you have it. Super ugly, but ain't leaking. There she be. Got my power steering back. It sounds a little gritty and grindy. I probably let it go much longer than I should. I'm sure I did some damage to the pump itself. However, it's a lot easier to turn, and I'm really not going to complain too much because it saved me a whole lot of money just tacking together a couple pieces of pipe as opposed to going ahead and replacing the entire line. Thank you for watching my video. Hopefully you learned something. I'll post an update here a couple days, couple weeks, something like that, to let you know if it stayed together, if it blew apart or whatnot. I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay though. Thanks again. Be sure to like, comment, yada yada yada. Do a quick update video on my drive home. It's been about 3 weeks and something, probably close to 1,000 miles. Still got power steering. Nothing's leaked out, so go get yourself some copper pipe. It's definitely a viable option.